despite having one of the largest coastlines in Africa, indigenous shipping remains a missing link in Nigeria's economic chain. Foreign vessels dominate our waters, while local participation struggles to stay afloat. But a new wave is rising, one powered by capacity building, regional trade, integration through African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, and a renewed focus on shipbuilding. As Nigeria looks to the ocean once more, the question is no longer if we can lead Africa's maritime future, but how soon. Building indigenous capacity in shipping and shipbuilding, leveraging African Continental Free Trade Area opportunities to position Nigeria as a regional maritime hub and driver of economic growth through the blue economy are some of the issues that will be on the front burner on today's show. I am Nneoma Obi-Asualo. At the heart of maritime revival lies capacity building, empowering Nigerians with the skills, technology, and technical know-how to manage and manufacture within the maritime value chain. Across training academies, shipyards, and port facilities, this investment in human capital can transform not only the industry, but the economy itself. A well-trained seafarer earns globally. A skilled marine engineer supports industry growth, and a revived shipbuilding sector fuels small and medium enterprises across steel, logistics, and energy supply. Under African Continental Free Trade Area AfCFTA, where African trade borders are opening, Nigeria's capacity advantage could become a continental strength. If local shipyards like Niger Dock, Naval Dockyard, and OON expand production and maintenance, and if indigenous shipping firms gain fair financing through tools like the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, popularly known as CVFF, Nigeria could evolve from a cargo-dependent importer to a regional maritime powerhouse. But this will demand investment in infrastructure, research, and shipbuilding technology. Modern dockyards, modular ship designs, and sustainable financing will be crucial to attract both local and foreign capital. Collaboration between LCCI, NIMASA, and the private sector can ensure Nigeria not only carries her own goods, but builds her own ships, a leap that will create thousands of jobs, reduce capital flight, and deepen industrial capacity. Before we get further into today's lineup on the program, let's find out the latest in maritime news.
In a renewed commitment to the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Nigeria has urged member states of the Union of African Shippers Councils to take a united stand against arbitrary shipping surcharges and unfair freight practices that continue to undermine trade competitiveness across West and Central Africa. The region seminar held in Lagos brought together delegates from 19 member countries, heads of maritime and trade agencies, development partners, and key players in the logistics and transport sector to discuss strategies for improving trade readiness under the AfCFTA. In his speech, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Olufemi Olorontola, stressed the urgent need to address persistent challenges in port logistics, trade facilitation, and shipping cost regulation to fully harness the benefits of AfCFTA as he declared the event open. The Executive Secretary and CEO of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Dr. Pius Akuta, emphasized that the agreement offers unparalleled and regional connectivity.
We are not ship-owning nations within the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Most countries are not ship-owning, so we depend on the foreign ships to move our cargo. So connectivity is an issue. You will see speaker after speaker, this issue was highlighted.
Director and CEO, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Dr. Muda Yusuf, in his presentation noted the challenges of governance, political will, and institutional capacity as issues hindering trade facilitation.
So what I will say is that there has to be consequences for action or inaction. if government has a policy, I mean, we have been on this trade facilitation issue for over 20 years. We complain about checkpoints, we complain about extortion, we complain about congestion and all of these things. Paperwork, not using enough technology, all these things are issues. But the government has to be more intentional.
Adara Mono, Deputy Director, Trade Services at the Nigerian Shippers Council, spoke on the essence of the event and the need for collaboration to improve cross-border trade.
So today's event comes on the back of the implementation of AfCFTA. Of course, we know it's a continental agreement, looking at the AU as a continent, but it's very important that West and Central African economies under this union take needed steps to address bottlenecks, confront those challenges, ensure their systems are aligned, there's harmonization across the different countries.
The International Maritime Organization, IMO, in partnership with the Regional Cooperation of Maritime Authorities, ROCRAM, has delivered the first regional technical workshop on various IMO subjects in Lima, Peru. Held in conjunction with the 24th regular meeting of ROCRAM and hosted by the government of Peru through the Peruvian Navy, the event gathered maritime administrations from across the region to strengthen technical capacity, enhance regional cooperation, and advance the implementation of IMO instruments. Opening the workshop, Commander General of the Peruvian Navy, Federico Bravo Doreuda Delgado, highlighted the importance of regional collaboration and technical exchange in ensuring safe, secure, and environmentally sustainable maritime operations. The head of the IMO's Latin America and Caribbean section, Carlos Salgado, reaffirmed the organization's support for regional priorities under the Integrated Technical Cooperation Program for 2026 to 2027 and beyond. Over 2 days, participants discussed ITCP priorities, regional engagement with IMO's Technical Cooperation Committee, tools for ratifying and implementing IMO instruments, post-audit management under the IMO Member State Audit Scheme called IMSAS, performance assessment criteria, and monitoring tools, including capacity building needs.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Radar. Nigeria's future prosperity sail not from oil rigs, but from ship decks and dockyards. Indigenous shipping and shipbuilding fueled by skilled manpower and regional integration offer a blueprint for national transformation. The economy grows when Nigerians not only trade, but transport, train, and build for themselves. AfCFTA provides the sea lane. Indigenous capacity is the vessel. Our guest, Dr. Emi Membere-Otaji, First Deputy President, Nigerian Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NACCIMA, Chairman and CEO, Elshcon Group of Companies, sits on the show to answer whether Nigeria will build enough ships and the human power to steer her own maritime destiny. This and many more. After this short break, please stay with us. Dr. Otaji, it's good to have you join us on the show.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so you are the founding member of Ship Owners Association of Nigeria. So let's look at indigenous shipping. You will agree with me that indigenous participation in shipping remains very low in Nigeria, despite Nigeria's vast coastline. So what do you think are the root causes? And what policies do you think can be put in place to turn the tide?
Well, thank you so much. Shipping is an international business. And shipping also, it's very, very capital intensive to start and to operate. And that's why, despite the fact that Nigeria is a coastal country, and with a very, very long coastline, the shipping industry has not developed commensurate with the opportunities, seeming
opportunities that we have,
that are available. to investors. So it hasn't. As I said, it's expensive business to run into, and funding has been a problem. And the conventional funding instruments, that's the banks and other financial institutions, it's not the interest rate they take. You cannot compete. You are competing. See, it's an international business. You are competing with somebody who has gotten 2-3% per annum interest rates on his long-term fund.
And what is the reality in Nigeria?
The reality in Naira, you're talking about 30-something%.
That is,
30-something%, and double digit in dollars. Double-digit percent in dollars. And then, so you can see, and then the tenure of the loan is short. Shipping is a long term, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Because apart from the capex, the operating, especially when you have you registered your vessel in one of those ICAS class.
Oh, okay, so looking at this funding challenge, which seems to be the big elephant in the room, hampering indigenous shippers to compete with foreign ship owners. So how can government, through NIMASA, ensure that this financing schemes like CVFF can truly empower local ship owners and operators? These CVFF disbursements have been on for over 2 decades. So how do we get this resolved?
Well, thank you so much, Nneoma. It's very unfortunate. I would know because my company operation in the industry predated the cabotage regime that was started in this country a couple of years ago. So we've been paying, we've been contributing. It's not up until the recent government that is now taking a bold step to release some funds. So all this while, it's been, and even then, there's a limit to which they can, there's a limited window, there's limited numbers they can take at a time.
Okay, Nigeria is import dependent, and meaning that there's a lot of opportunities for ship owners in Nigeria. So with this funding issue that is a big elephant in the room, and there's seeming no government support, and looking that shipping is a very huge, capital intensive business. So how do we begin to even, compete?
Well, thank you so much. Whether we like it or not, African Continental Free Trade Area has come to stay, given the big market, intra-African markets. Already we are doing the ECOWAS market integration, the West African Monetary Zone, and who am I? That's the French-speaking and the English-speaking, the coordination. We're making some progress there. But there are issues. Look, I mentioned the issue about the funding. Look, it's easier for us. That's why if you look at it, most ship owners, most of us are either in the OSV, that's offshore support vessel subsector, or the tanker ownership. Truth is, we want to invest. I can tell you these offshore support vessels are sometimes more expensive than the general cargo ships or general small container ships that you can start with. OSVs are more expensive. But we'd rather go there because then you are doing contracts.
Okay.
You're not talking about freights. You come, how many cargo you carry, the carrying per freight. No. I give my thing to company, an international oil company or national oil company or a service company, and they just keep it for a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years, and pay me.
But that still doesn't address our participation. So what do you, as a practitioner in indigenous shipping,
yes,
what do you think is the way forward to address this issue?
I can tell you it has to go again without singing praises. We've taken one step. The whole world is talking about blue economy.
Okay.
Even if you say name, at least we now have a ministry.
Dedicated ministry.
So that's a first step in terms of political will. I'm sure the next will now be how do we put action to the policy?
Okay.
How do we? Because as I said,
which is also the political, which is the implementation, the power to implement.
Power to implement, monitor, and evaluate success to know whether the desired outcome is there. Statistics will show.
So AfCFTA has opened Africa's borders to trade. How can Nigeria leverage this to become a regional shipping hub and logistic powerhouse, and also tap into its vision? Because that is another opportunity before us. What's Nigeria doing with it?
Well, I would say that, as you rightly have said, AfCFTA has come to stay. Incidentally, global trade, it is what it is. It is not, if you're inefficient, you can't be competitive. It's not, there is no, because I like this country or I like these goods coming from this country. No. You are whatever you are importing or exporting, especially exporting, must compete with what is coming from other countries. So competitiveness is key in all ramifications. Now, after market, about, they say, the market, Africa, about 1.4 billion people. The GDP, about $3 trillion. Big.
So we just have this potential.
So the potentials, and Nigeria is coastal. So apart from coastal, we can also service the landlocked neighbors. We have a lot. A lot of our ships have been ruined by Nigerian manned crew. A lot. Some of them, unfortunately, now we're being frank, some of them will fake certificates of competency that is fake, or even those who are not fake. Some of them just are a bit careless. The shipyards, that's another thing. Are we, the shipbuilding industry, to support ownership? Until recently, most of our vessels just go to Ghana or Namibia, Walvis Bay and Namibia, for maintenance. And of course, these are vessels that you have routine and regular checks that must be done. That just, if you want to keep your...
We'll be looking more into two issues that you've raised here, capacity building and also shipbuilding. But that will be after this short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Radar, and I still have with me Dr. Emi Membere-Otaji.
Chief.
Before we went on that break, okay, we'll take one title. Before we went on that break, you were talking about capacity building. So how do you think, and the challenges of seafarers, issues with falsification of certificates and all that you were mentioning. So how can we also now develop the seafarers training and that of seafarers, that of marine engineers, which can directly translate into better opportunities for them?
Well, I think in the area of capacity building, well, government is trying its best, but as I said, we have a lot more potential than that we need to tap. OON, the Maritime College, and a few others. I've even seen maritime universities and all that. Maybe now that they are a lot more maybe eventually a lot of them will graduate and be available as seafarers here that will use. Also, of course, you must have heard the people, especially those who they sent abroad. Unfortunately, we pay various states and other agencies send these kids abroad with high
the one
dollars.
Nemasa is...
Yes, Nemasa too is doing, and then they come back without practical sea time. So now that's another matter, because without the practical sea time, your degree, PhD and all that is
which indigenous shipping, addressing the funding part of indigenous shipping will be able to address this sea time training, whatever. Because if we have vessels, it's
that's a lab they need. That's a laboratory.
Okay, so let's look at let's talk about Nigeria's shipbuilding and repairs.
Yes.
You mentioned a little before we went on that break. So looking at the industry's huge potential, how will you say it has fared, viewing it from the lens of economic powerhouse, which is supposed to be?
Yeah, the shipbuilding. Well, shipbuilding is a very, very expensive business. It's very, very expensive. But number one, you're building a ship. I can tell you, over 90% of the inputs are imported. Bulk of it that make up the big ship, the hull, all steel, or in some cases aluminum. The engine, gearbox,
but what of Nigeria's steel industry?
For me, I have not seen Nigerian, more so some of the plates, this class will tell you what to use, what not to use. But even without those on-class vessels as well, no, we don't have enough we don't feel them. Okay. If they exist, I really don't know, but they're imported. Then how about infrastructure? You are building. When they are welding, NEPA, there is no light going off and on. Because otherwise that weld point that light went off and it come back, it's a challenge. So you are going to have power all through. You are going to use, you are not be ready to use public power supply. So you are going to use your whatever generator, whatever solar, whatever it is that you are doing to do. So you see the infrastructural cost. So what I'm trying to say is that those are the things, and if they are in place, Nigerians have seen I've seen people. Nigerians are daring, and they can just make the thing for them and let them and give them support. I mean, it is give them the support, and they will go far with it. And if they go, and incidentally, the other countries in the continent, most other countries, let me put it, especially in the sub-Saharan countries, are looking up to Nigeria. Not just in population, to lead in every other aspect.
Oh, okay, so how can partnership between local investors, organizations like LCCI and international shipbuilders drive innovation, funding, and technology transfer into Nigeria's shipyards?
Well, yes, those are necessary things. I mean, those are necessary things. The partnerships. There are a lot of partnerships that are on. There are a lot of partnerships that are on. There's also note that, again, sometimes some other partners have come in and had to exit because of fund transfer issues and regulatory issues, cumbersome regulatory. Cumbersome, multiple regulators. Sometimes same one thing, you are dealing with several, almost doing the same thing. So coordination of the agencies, sector by sector. I mean, you know it in the ports. I mean, you see how many agencies are at the ports. That's just one. Even the oil and gas industry, regulators, there are too many. Too many doing. Almost you can put all of them in one and deal with departments. And so you know that you are going, and then most of them are not digitalized. Because they are not, the processes are not digitalized. You still have a lot of human interference. And then because of the human interface,
anything can happen,
factor,
corruption.
So it's frustrating. It is frustrating. See, truth is, it is frustrating. So you just...
But do you think it's hopeless?
No. Never. Never. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. If the present government have taken some good steps, but a lot still have to be there. It's not something that 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, a tenure of one government, no. It is now set up the development plan and then execute. If we've done well, stage by stage, and as
making evaluations, looking at a lot of things.
And then if you do it and engage, let the people know about what you are doing through a lot of advocacies, even involving the civil society, so they know that government, this area we are planning is a long marathon, but we have started today. And so if it's everybody know where we are in it, and then a new government come, they also will continue from the previous one.
Our position as a coastal state makes it compulsory for us to be able to develop the shipping industry. Some good steps have been made, but what we need is political will.
Strong one. Political
will to be able to move this from policy to implementation. It's been Dr. Emi Membere-Otaji. He is the first Deputy President, NACCIMA. He's also Chairman and CEO of Elshcon Group of Companies and the founding member, Ship Owners Association of Nigeria. Thank you for your time and your thoughts. I hope that the issues, challenges you've raised and the solutions you've proffered here, government is listening to it and be able to address it. We look forward to indigenous shipping really thriving in Nigeria. Thank you once again. And that's our show this week. I hope this week's conversation and recommendation has been able to answer the question, how soon Nigeria can lead Africa's maritime future. Join us every week on Maritime Radar as we explore potentials that will ensure development of the maritime sector in Africa. You can also expect the latest in global and local maritime news, plus industry insights right here. I am Nneoma Obi-Asualo. Many thanks for your time and see you again next week.